Because many of you lack the humanity and the basic understanding of covert warfare, I am forced to overkill this point. So let's look at the independent.co.uk, an article by Muhammad I. Aslam, Intelligent Kill, The Dirty Art of Secret Assassination. Now, I am not claiming that they are trying to assassinate me secretly, but they are gassing me, and it is a harmful gas. And let's look at what these people are capable of. And then from there, it will become very apparent that it is much easier to develop whatever gas they are using on me than to develop the gases they have in the past. In the best-selling book, Gordon Thomas, author of Gideon's Spies, The Secret History of the Mossad, gives a chilling and detailed account of how the Mossad uses biochemists and genetic scientists in order to develop lethal cocktails as bottled agents of death. This includes the development of nerve agents, choking agents, blood agents, and other blister agents, including Tuban, virtually odorless and visible when dispensed in aerosol or vapor form. Somon, the last of the Nazi nerve gases to be discovered, which also has a slightly fruity odor and is invincible in vapor format. Blister agents, which include chlorine, phosgene, and diphosgene, and smell of new mown grass. And blood agents, those with a cyanide base. Okay, so in the past I've gone over Medscape, which is a valid source, and how they have aerosol sprays for psychiatry. Okay? Vaporizes drugs, condensation aerosol spray, oral and lingual spray of drugs. So they have both nasal sprays and sprays you can put on in a mask and other gases and vapors, and fumes. Okay, now let me just show you some not so valid sources. We have Rhino's, a WordPress covert gassing as part of psychological terror. We have Harassment Mentor, covert gassing, gas misters. We have another WordPress covert gassing. We have Piston Heads, British Secret Service shows off new gassing, and so on and so forth. I'd like to point out the Mossad are a bunch of cowards, a bunch of weaklings who overestimate themselves and overvalue themselves. When they sent a Jew to accept my martial arts challenge, I won 10-0. And they are gassing my father, who has given millions of dollars away in free charity work to the San Jose area community, especially when he was working at Kaiser Hospital before they ripped him off for a large amount of money. Okay, so the Mossad, Kaiser, and all these people are lowly dogs who mistreat people and put political interests above patients and human beings every day. That had to be said. Now, with that being said, this article is by Eugene Rubin, MD, PhD, Demystifying Psychiatry. Laughing Gas as a Treatment for Depression is the title. Nitrous oxide may help persons with severe depression. Posted January 14th, 2015. Now, this may not sound too harmful to those of you who do not know what laughing gas is, but listen carefully. Clinical depression leads to substantial disability, and it can be a fatal disease. Although many people with this disorder respond well to standard treatments, a significant number of patients do not improve. Their illness is considered treatment resistant. It is likely that there are multiple types of depression. Some types may respond to one type of treatment and not to others. The pain this illness causes can be so severe that a person may consider suicide. When suicidally depressed patients come to psychiatric attention, they may remain in an extreme risk to themselves even weeks after various treatment trials have been initiated. This risk of suicide may continue even when a person is hospitalized. Ketamine is a drug that is used during certain emergency room procedures, particularly in children. One example of such a procedure is resetting a dislocated shoulder. Ketamine diminishes the sensation of pain and also leads to a brief period during which the patient is conscious but indifferent to the procedure. This is called dissociative anesthesia. The drug provides this type of anesthesia without compromising the ability to breathe. Ketamine can also diminish pain and produce conscious sedation and analgesia in adults. Unlike children, however, adults often experience significant psychiatric side effects that may develop hallucinations, perceptual disturbances, and delusions with ketamine. Thus, ketamine, like its cousin, phencyclidine, in parentheses, PCP, aka angel dust. So yes, they are, just like Adderall is related to, meth and cocaine, ketamine is related to angel dust. They basically want to give the cousin of angel dust to kids for depression. They're sickos. And this is January 14th, 2015. Keep that in mind. Anyway, is considered a psychotomimetic. That is, a drug that can cause psychotic symptoms. It is thought that children don't experience the psychotic effects of ketamine because the wiring of certain brain regions is still immature. Major functional brain pathways continue to form through adolescence. So, as you can see, not only are they recommending using a cousin of PCP or angel dust for children and adults, but they don't understand why they don't experience psychotic symptoms or effects. So it's okay because we don't understand why they don't experience it, but they don't seem to experience it. Forget the fact that it's completely fucking their brain, causing significant neurological damage, and they never do the long-term studies to figure it out because most likely they're not stupid and they know what it leads to, and they don't want to have it documented that they know. Anyway, studies have over the past decade have found that a single 40-minute intravenous infusion of ketamine at sub-anesthetic doses can lead to rapid improvement in mood and alleviation of suicidal ideation in a significant percentage of severely depressed persons. This effect begins within several hours after ketamine administration and lasts for days. The most noticeable downside of ketamine is that it can cause psychotic and cognitive side effects. Well, at least they do admit they cause cognitive damage or neurological damage. Such effects typically don't last long, but they can be disturbing. Okay, so they don't admit the long-term effect. Optimal dosing, frequency of administration, and even route of administration are all active areas of investigation. Ketamine is thought to work by blocking the effect of a neurotransmitter called glutamate on a specific type of glutamate receptor known as the NMDA receptor. Blocking NMDA receptors can rapidly alter how certain brain pathways function and connect with one another. These changes in brain pathways may be involved in alleviating depressive symptoms. Oh, they may be involved, but so you're blocking, pathways to the brain, and that's kind of part of that's how we think, receptors and pathways, and it's no big deal. We don't know. It may help, but we know that the symptoms go away. It's kind of like if I hit you in the head with a fucking hammer, the symptoms go away. Who cares about the rest of the damage, right? Considering ketamine as a potential treatment for depression is complicated by its psychiatric side effects and by the fact that it's sometimes abused as a recreational drug. That never stopped you before. A recent study published by Dr. Peter Negeli and colleagues in the journal Biological Psychiatry reports that nitrous oxide, laughing gas, an inhaled anesthetic commonly administered by dentists during dental procedures may help patients with treatment-resistant depression. Okay. Why would one even consider the possibility that nitrous oxide would help persons with severe depression? It turns out that nitrous oxide, like ketamine, blocks the action of glutamate at NMDA receptors, but by a mechanism that differs from ketamine. Unlike ketamine, nitrous oxide does not have psychosis-inducing properties, although, like ketamine, it can sometimes be abused. In a proof-of-concept study, Negeli and other concepts compared the antidepressant effect of a single administration of nitrous oxide to a placebo gas in 20 patients with treatment-resistant depression. So, not only were they considering ketamine, and pretty much still are, but they also considering nitrous oxide, what dentists use, for those of you who are getting lost here. Each patient was tested with both treatments, nitrous oxide and placebo, and separately crossed over trials 1 week apart. Nitrous oxide was administered for about 15 minutes at a dose similar to that used in a dentist's office. The results of this study are intriguing. While compared to the placebo gas, nitrous oxide led to some substantial improvement. 35% of patients demonstrated a very good to excellent response with nitrous oxide versus 5% with placebo. The benefits lasted for several days and at least a week in some patients. This response rate is remarkable considering that the patients selected for the study had previously failed an average of 8, range 4 to 12 antidepressant treatments. So when you look into the study, what does it show us? The antidepressant treatments really don't do anything. Nitrous oxide seems to have an effect on the brain that alters the mood, which is not healing the person, it's altering the mind state for several weeks. For how long did they say? So, okay, not several weeks. For the benefits lasted for several days and at least a week. I mean, that's neither here nor there if you truly think about it. You inhale some nitrous oxide, your brain's all fucked up for several days to a week, and you don't feel so sad. I mean, come on. This these people's logic on record. In 2015, this is their logic. Okay, you know what? I don't want to make this too long because they're cyber attacking me, making it damn near impossible to upload videos. You know, I have to go to different websites to do it. So I'm going to leave it there. If you want to see the read the study again, I don't know how well it's going to show up, but this is the study. It's on top of what the study is. Demystifying psychiatry. Laughing gas is a treatment for depression. Nitrous oxide may help persons with severe depression. Posted January 14, 2015. Eugene Rubin, MD, PhD. So this is what PhDs come up with. You know, treatments that aren't as effective as mine, aren't as natural, aren't as healthy. You know, that's what they come up with. PhDs. You know, nonsense. Now going back to the pussy-ass Mossad, the cowardly CIA, and the bitch-ass mi-6, mi-5 pussies. Okay, all you intelligence dogs. So you can covertly drug me and harass me and stalk me, and I have all the proof to prove it. I have some of your civilian recruits admitting that you told them to provoke me. But you can't see me with the gloves because you're cowards. You don't measure up. You're not as much of a man as I am. You wouldn't dream of going against the grain as I have. You aren't men of principle. You are men of money and cowardice. You are puppets. You are lemmings. You are muppets. You are sheep. A sheep with a badge is still a fucking sheep. A lemming given a little power is still a fucking lemming. You're told what to do. You're a puppet bitch. You're a fucking coward. Okay, you can gas my mother and my father, and you wonder why I think it is fair play to kill everybody in your family. Not that I'm going to do it, but I certainly believe it is fair play. You gas old people with medical conditions. You gas them. You know my mother has asthma. You know this. But you gas her and cause her to cough up a fucking storm. I heard my mother and father coughing today. Okay? Now, I want all you viewers to ask yourselves, if you were in my shoes, what would you do? Now, if you were a normal person who would kill to protect their family like at least half of normal people would, what would you do? This is from my interview I've done not too long ago. When did I do it? November 17th, 2015. This is just the people I've interviewed in the last few months alone. One of them was in the last couple of days. Yes, gassing you. Or covert.
I do. I was in the military, and when I was in the military, they gassed me all the time, every day that I was in the military. They tormented me. My superiors, my peers. If I wanted to commit suicide.
Can you tell me what's been happening with you, with the gassing?
I've just been noticing some really strange smells coming out of the house. Like I'll show you, like there's a vent here, so can you see it? Beside the clock, right?
Yep.
Anyway, I guess it might very well be coming from there, but it was just a sick, nauseating smell. I usually get a headache afterwards. So that's about it with regards to the smells, like the gases, fumes, whatever you want to call them.
Can you see why it would make somebody very angry if it happened to them every day?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because not only that, because I had to open the windows, and then lo and behold, the heat of traffic comes along, doesn't it? It's just really noisy, and it's just annoying. It's infuriating.
For example, you probably wouldn't know that I was going to do that. Only I do. And that I have the aggression inside of me to do that. Or perhaps it's... to one of those slow, goofy motherfuckers, you know, being able to grab that. You know, that's what's going to happen. So do, right? And then, I come in, boom, boom. They're not gonna be able to do it.